This year, I got a teacher fired. He didn't like me at all. In fact, he got fired because he threw a pencil at my face. It sounds puny, but trust me, it was dramatic at the moment. Anyway, after he had to pack away his unjust teaching career in boxes and went off on his merry way, I thought I wouldn't even have to say his name if I didn't want to. The universe, and of course my friends, seemed to have other ideas. It was a nice and sunny day, especially with Mr. Blockner out of my life. I walked into school, I said hi to Michael, I walked to class with my friends, we still had cool subs for science class. My life was amazing. Then, of course, it all went to crap in a night. I was sitting at lunch, Michael holding me around the waist as I ate a sandwich, busy chattering with the group about close to everything. Then Mira asked me the question, "Have you been since Mr. Blockner had to leave?" I shrugged my shoulders. "Better than I think I've ever felt," I responded honestly. She nodded her head and smiled. "I think that man still needs a taste of his own medicine," I heard Angie say. Sadie and Casey both responded with some muddled agreement. I shook my head nervously. "I mean, he got fired. I'd rather just leave it at that," I admitted. Then Bryn spoke up. "No, someone needs to kick that guy's butt." I stared at her, shocked. The whole group did. Bryn was the last person you'd expect to say anything remotely violent as a response to anything. She was the mom friend, the responsible one. I want to be her when I grow up. "Seriously, guys," I warned. "Can we please leave it?" I watched them think it over for a little bit. Then Sadie was the first to speak up. "Okay, but only because you asked so nicely." We all laughed. The rest of my day went by normal. The bell rang, I made my way out of school, said goodbye to Michael and my friends, and went home. The night was quiet. My homework was easy. I just sat with my family, watching a movie. Then, I got a call. It was from Angie. Angie never called. She was the one person who was most likely to text anyone and everyone if possible. I picked up quickly. "Hey, are you okay?" I asked. I moved out of the living room pretty fast so I could hear her. No. Well, maybe. Skylar? "Yeah?" I asked. "We kinda did a thing and you need to come over." "What did you do?" I demanded. "Look, I can't explain right now. You just need to come over." After a little more back and forth, I hung up the phone. I went over to my mom and asked her if I could go to Angie's. Her first reaction was, of course, suspicion. I could see the word no written across her face. I spent a little time trying to convince her, saying it was urgent. Angie sounded seriously worried. She finally caved. I had to do extra chores this week, but she caved. I hopped in my car and made my way over to Angie's house. Everything there seemed quiet. I knocked on the door, and she practically dragged me into the house. I protested and asked countless questions, but she didn't answer any of them. She just dragged me all the way down to her basement, where I saw Bryn and Mira. "Okay, what is going on?" I practically screeched. Angie put a hand over my mouth. "We need to hide you from the police," she said. It was more like a question leaving her mouth. I wrenched myself out of her grasp. "What did you guys do?" I demanded again. She sighed. Bryn spoke up before her. "We egged and TP'd Mr. Blockner's house," she admitted. "He didn't see us, but he started calling the cops. We heard your name. We all scattered so nothing could get traced back to our group." I stared at all of them in disbelief. "You have to be joking," I said. They all shook their heads. "You guys know I wouldn't get arrested, right? I have an alibi." Bryn shrugged. "Yeah, but if questions were asked, it might still lead back to us." I sighed and hung my head. Why? Why do my friends do this to me? "How long am I going to have to stay here?" "Not long," Angie said. "I'll just text my mom." We hid in the basement for a couple of hours. I'm pretty sure I heard sirens go by Angie's house, but I couldn't have been sure. Would the police stop by my house? Would they call my parents? Would I get in trouble? After a while, Bryn said we probably had the okay to just all leave. So I went back home. I said hi to my mom. "I got a call asking about you," my mom said. She looked tired. "Mr. Blockner tried to tell me that you egged his house." We both started laughing for a little bit, though I'm sure it was for different reasons. The next day, the whole group was on edge, and the day after that, and all the way into the next week. But I was slowly starting to think there wasn't anything to worry about. After the next couple weeks, we calmed down. Obviously, no one was going to come after us. It was definitely funny what happened to Mr. Blockner. There's no denying that, and honestly, I'm happy my friends stuck up for me. Overall, it was a crazy experience, and I never want to go through it again.